Hey guys, welcome to my conversation with right? It's a
Yes, sir.
two-time state champion Gaby Caro.
Yes.
Sorry about that, Gabby. Um, Two-time state champion. How does that sound?
Pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
does sound pretty cool. Um, what was it any different the second time as opposed to the first time?
Um, yes, actually. I mean, the first time it was a really cool feeling, but I think the second time was even more of a cool feeling because Rachel Silva I've known for a long time. So it was kind of like friends in a battle at the end. So it was really cool being able to kind of share that moment with her.
Very cool. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to talk a little bit about your journey on the mat here in a little bit. But before we get to that, I want to ask you a couple questions off the mat. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with sushi. Is that a yes or a no?
Hard yes.
Hard yes. And we're not talking about like the California roll sushi. We're talking about the 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 raw fish sushi. You into that?
Any sushi.
Any
Any
sushi.
I love sushi.
You love sushi. Is there any particular sushi?
Oh man. Um, I like tuna, cream cheese, avocado, and cucumber.
Oh, wow. Okay. Could you eat that during the season, or is that like a no?
I would get so if I ever went out with my family and we were having sushi, I would get like the cucumber rolls. So like no rice or seaweed, so it's like less of everything else. But
I got you. All right. So roller coaster, yes or no?
yes.
Yes, you like roller coasters.
Yeah.
All right. Is there a favorite one? Is there a favorite ride that you've been to?
There was one ride at Busch Gardens. I went to Busch Gardens at the beginning of the school year with Latinas in Action, which is like it's like class slash club at my school.
Okay.
Um, And there was one ride that we rode like 6 times because there was no line.
Hmm.
I can't remember the name of it though, but it just like literally just went in a circle the entire time. It was really fun.
All right. So what's the best subject? What's your best subject?
Oh, math.
Math. Do you
Yeah.
like math?
I enjoy math. I'm like I'm like I'm good at it, but recently not so much because I'm doing calculus this year and I can feel the rug being pulled out from under me, but I enjoy it. It's really interesting.
Cool. All right. So let's go the opposite. Worst subject.
Uh, um I'm really bad at history, but I really enjoy the classes. Like I do
Oh,
bad on the test, but I enjoy learning.
okay. All right.
That's it.
So in the future, are you going to be like a scientist, mathy person, or where do you see yourself being
I want to be a neurosurgeon.
a neurosurgeon?
Yeah.
All right. So you like science then?
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So let's continue on. Cookies or brownies?
Cookies.
Cookies, any particular kind?
Chocolate chip
Chocolate chip,
or okay, homemade chocolate chip, but then the public sprinkle cookies.
poet sprinkle cookies,
Publix.
public sprinkle cake cookies,
Yes.
the Publix sprinkle cookies. Okay.
Top tier.
Okay. All right. And another question: time machine or magic wand?
Oh man. Hmm. Probably magic wand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's going to be the first thing that you do with it? Are you going to create something? Or are you going to change something?
Probably get some sushi.
All right. All right. So um the last question off the mat, and that is, do you have a talent? I'm sure you do, off the mat that very few people know about that are in the wrestling world.
Um, I play guitar.
You play guitar.
I do play guitar.
All right. That's awesome. How
Thanks.
long have you played guitar?
I started playing in like 2020, like during COVID. My
Uh-huh.
dad got me a guitar. I asked for a drum set and he was like, no, it's too loud. He got me a guitar instead. And then a couple years later, he got me an electric guitar. So I'm kind of back and forth between the two.
All right. That's cool. I'm not very musically talented, but I think learning how to play a guitar would be pretty cool. Did you teach yourself or?
I take a class at school, but it's he doesn't really like sit down and like actually like do it with us. It's more of just like he'll give us an assignment and then we kind of have to figure it out on our own. But I
Okay,
started with myself.
very cool. All right. So let's go on the mat, and I want you to take me back to when you first started wrestling, how you started, like how did this journey even begin?
So I started my martial arts journey when I was 4.
Oh, okay.
I did karate up until I was 12 and I got my black belt. Um and then I started jujitsu when I was 8. My dad had started jujitsu before me, and then he started bringing me to a couple of classes, just trying to get me a little exposed to it. And
Mhm.
I really, really liked it. So then I'm still doing jujitsu now. Um, I have 2 world titles and 3 Pan American titles.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and
Oh,
then
that's awesome.
thank you. And then so I went from wrestling to or from jujitsu to wrestling. I think it was kind of always in hindsight that I was going to end up wrestling because they go hand in hand. Um, so I couldn't wrestle my ninth grade year because my mom was like high health risk. So, and it was still COVID and everything. So, I started 10th grade, and then that was pretty much it. I just started then, and then I started for the sole purpose of getting better at jujitsu because I wasn't very aggressive. I'm more of a methodical fighter. And so I started wrestling to get more aggressive and, to fight a little harder. And then I kind of realized I wasn't that bad. So I was like, oh, wait, let me kind of try to pursue this a little more.
Yeah, not bad. You got a world title in jiu-jitsu, and and you're underselling it because you were a state runner-up in your first year of wrestling.
This is true.
So, I mean, look, I've talked to especially young women, girls, like when they get into wrestling, there seems to be a connection between jujitsu and some other type of martial art, and eventually wrestling. What is it about those other disciplines that kind of go hand in hand and make you a really good wrestler the first time you kind of, I'm not saying you were unbelievably awesome the first time you guys ever wrestled, but you obviously come in with a level of maybe body awareness or whatever that your typical wrestler doesn't necessarily have.
Um, from jujitsu, I can speak for how they go hand in hand because it's both grappling
Hmm.
and it's a lot of understanding how the way people's bodies move and being able to capitalize on them and like weight distribution and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I think that in general, for just martial arts as a whole, it's a very like discipline heavy type sport. And so people already kind of have that discipline engraved in them when they do some type of martial art before wrestling. And I think wrestling is just really applying all of the discipline that you had learned from before.
Yeah. So did you feel like it was pretty seamless for you, or was there a learning curve?
There was a little learning curve when I started
Okay.
because I stayed in jujitsu while I was doing wrestling that season. And seasons after that, I ended up just doing jujitsu and then I would stop jujitsu after December and I'd just focus on wrestling because I'd go to my jujitsu classes. This literally happened to me yesterday because season just ended. I tried to do a wrestling move and I got caught in a choke.
Oh,
Like,
right.
because it's not the same thing. And so I would do the same thing when I first started wrestling was I would go for a move and I'd fall to my back and I'm like, oh, can't do that. Or I try to go for a sweep and guard or something and I'm like, oh, I might get pinned. I'm giving up backs trying to do like a scissor sweep.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a little bit of your brain that has to compartmentalize kind of, I need to be doing this, not this when I'm doing those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, wow. Okay. So that's how you began, and that makes complete sense. And you were a state runner-up as a sophomore, and then you came back and you won back-to-back titles. Talk to me a little bit about maybe kind of the was the goal always to win that title after you didn't win it your sophomore year, or were you much more like, I'm just going to work to get better, and if a title comes, a title comes? What was kind of your mindset?
It was more of the second one. I mean, like the end goal obviously was to win a state title.
Mhm.
That was always in mind. But throughout the season, I think my mindset was more of just like one match at a time, especially when it got to districts and regionals, because sure, you can think about how nice it is to get a state title, but if you're out in districts, you don't even get to states.
Right.
So I really took the time to think about each individual match leading up to states rather than looking at states itself. And then on top of that, throughout the entire season when I was doing stuff, I was captain this year, co-captain with one of the other guys on my team. And anytime that we would be drilling or something and we're in the last minute, we'd start what's the word? Commentating. Like it's the like last minute of the state finals match. We're like,
Oh,
1 minute, Gabby's down by 1 point. She's on the bottom. She's trying to get a reversal. And so we'd start to like hype each other up for that like last moment type of match. But when it comes to like mentally preparing, it was just one step at a time.
that's cool. That's cool. Um, so you talk about that last match, and you mentioned it earlier. And why was that kind of full circle? Why was that special? You did the, is this I love you? Were you looking in the crowd after you?
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of walk me through kind of the match against Rachel, and then kind of the feelings that you had as a result.
So first, Rachel and I actually we both did jujitsu before, and I kind of saw her around. I don't remember. I don't think I ever fought her in jujitsu, but one of my first preseason wrestling tournaments ever, like my sophomore year, I went against her, and then we didn't see each other again. Or see each other. I mean, like we didn't fight each other again
Yeah.
until this year because we were in the same weight class this year. But the years before, like my sophomore and junior year, we were always cheering each other on. We saw each other at tournaments. We'd catch up. We'd talk. And then come this year, and now she's on the other side of the bracket. And no bad blood or anything, but you know,
Yeah.
gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, of course.
So I mean, she was also my finals match at regionals. So I that one I pinned her second period. And so I went into the finals match knowing I had won before.
Mhm.
I need to do it again. But now she knows what I'm gonna do. And
Right.
I also know what she's gonna do. So I think that finals match, if you're not if you didn't know what was going on, people probably thought that it was a really boring match. But when I was looking back at it, I think it was so methodical the way that it played out
Mhm.
because we both started standing. Obviously, that's how it starts. So I'm going in for takedowns and everything. She's not letting me get them. But I know that she has her little throw by thing that she does.
Mhm.
So I was making sure not to push too much into her to where she was able to like capitalize on my weight going forward. But then she also knew that I was going to continuously try to shoot on her. So she's keeping her legs back, not letting me shoot. The refs gave her a stall point, or they gave me a stall
Still
point.
point. Yeah.
Yes, because they had a stall call on her. So now we're going into the second period, and I'm up by 1. So I'm like, okay, I have my lead. I just got to protect it. Then second period comes around. She has choice. She chooses bottom. So now I'm like, okay, I just have to not let her up. If I get back points, I get back points. If not, as long as she doesn't get her 1 point for escape, I'm still up on points. So then we go through the second period. She didn't get her points. So then third period comes around. I'm like, all right, I got bottom. It's like it's wraps because when I'm very, very confident on bottom. So and she knew that my fat mineral was coming. So I was like, I gotta be a little sneaky about it. So I tried it a couple of times, it failed, and I finally got the points. But after the match, after every one of Rachel's match, so she's hard of hearing. And after every match, she turns to the crowd and she does this.
Oh, I
And
didn't know
so,
that. Okay.
yeah. So since she's hard of hearing, that's like kind of her thing, is like the heart or
Yeah.
the
I
I love
love you.
you.
Yeah.
So then I was like, why not do it with her? Since I mean, like I know that's her thing, and
Yeah,
like we're creating this moment together. I'm her friend. Might as well.
that was very cool. Well, it was a good match. I think you're right. It was definitely measured, probably because of your past experience of wrestling one another, and that sort of thing. So, what's next for Gab?
Well, I committed to UCF, so I actually just signed up for orientation the other day,
Okay.
and um, their wrestling is like it's pretty good. I got to go wrestle with their club the other day, and I got a really good workout in, but I really wasn't planning on wrestling in college. And since I'm so close to home, I'll probably come back and coach for my team down here because
Hmm.
my brother is going to be a freshman next year.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited to see how that goes. But I
Very
think
cool.
I'm gonna focus on school for right now. I'll probably focus on school for the first 2 semesters and see how my schedule works out. And then I'll stay in wrestling to stay fit and whatnot, but I don't think I'm gonna take it much further than I already have.
Very cool. Well, the last question I've been asking everybody is why wrestle? What makes wrestling special?
Oh man. I think the discipline that goes into it, it's taught me so many things because it's a 24/7 sport. It's not like soccer, football, where when you're done with your game or before your game, it's not like a when you're done, you're done. Like it's you're never done. When you're in the practicing room, you're constantly pushing yourself and other people. Um, and it creates a very, very tight bond between you and your team. And on top of that, it really taught me a lot of time management because I had never had to juggle school and 3.5 hours of practice 5 days a week. And then dieting on top of that and cutting weight. There's just so many aspects to the sport. It completely consumes your life. But then once you're done, it's like such a good feeling of like, I did that. Like I did that. That was me. It's something to make you feel like you accomplished something, you know?
Absolutely. Well, Gabby, congratulations on 2 state titles. We look forward to seeing you in the future. Maybe we'll see you in the corner talking to your brother as he's out on the mat.
Probably.
All right, you take care.
Thank you so much.